PSA, the world is yours. You can do anything that you put your mind to. If you're not gonna do it, who is? And if you're not gonna do it now, when are you gonna do it?
Word. What's your name?
My name is Nathan.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, so Nathan, who are you on a soul level?
On a solo level?
On a soul level.
On a soul level. Ooh. Who am I on a soul level? I like to believe that I am a genuine, optimistic, positive, optimistic, goofy, entertaining, thoughtful, ambitious, driven, determined, goal-oriented human being.
Okay. So is there anything that's happened in the past or anything that's going on right now that kind of contributes to all of that, like that makes you who you are?
I think a lot of it has to do with my upbringing. My father has a big contribution, well, both my parents have a big contribution to who I am now, simply because I learned a lot of my lessons in my household. And if I didn't learn my lessons in my household, they were always brought back to my household. For instance, in school, I was actually raised in Baltimore, and I went to a Baltimore public elementary school, and a lot of the things that happened there, they were always brought back to my house. So I would always have to explain to my parents, exactly what happened, and, they would let me know on how they felt about it and how they would approach it. And then I would always be like, yeah, I understand here and there. But it wasn't a matter of, me understanding then. It was just a matter of they kind of putting it out there and having me just, like almost like a bee in your ear, like, just always being there and always like, making sure that their voice is being heard. So it was only a matter of time till it just stuck with me. And it allowed me to actually hear it out one day to where I was actually ready to hear it.
Sweet. So I'm going to give you 3 categories, and I want you to tell me what means the most to you and what means the least to you. Mm-hmm. And you can mix and match these, and we're just going to go down like one by one. So the first category is love, sex, and relationships. The next category is society, culture, and politics. And the last is spirituality and or religion. So obviously all these categories are like those things and everything in between and everything that has to do with those things. So in those categories, what comes first for you?
Spirituality and religion.
Okay.
And it's crazy because that category is the category that I'm most unfamiliar with. But I mean, that just goes to show how much that small portion that I am familiar with, how much it truly means to me and how much it changes the dynamic of how I approach, love, sex, and, social and politics and everything else, because it all starts with, your well-being, your soul, your mindset. So I take my spirituality very seriously. And it's different, I guess, the way that I take it, because I'm not too familiar with the entire spiritual realm.
Right.
I'm just familiar on what I'm familiar with, which is really it's mindfulness. So it's about 2 years ago I started meditating and started actually taking my well-being a lot more seriously. So I then started to notice how much your self-awareness means to you and means to, to the people who are affected by you.
Yeah.
So I've started to, when I started to meditate, I started to actually think about the things that I was saying to people before I actually said them. And I actually got a chance to think my thoughts. I know that sounds weird, but like I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I think a majority of this world, you know, life moves so quickly that they don't get a chance to actually think why they think the way they do.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, they don't take a step back to be like, oh, you know, why did I think that was okay? like, I don't know, like, how to break it down and make it make sense. I'm not that kind of guy.
No, it's cool.
But, yeah, like, I've started, you know, with me meditating, that really allowed me to open up my thought process to, like, break it down, to see the root of the, you know, the cause of, the cause of the effects.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
are you religious? Or are you just spiritual? Like you just do your own thing?
I am religious, so I'm a Christian by birth, and I've been on that path since. And honestly, I go to church about once a month. I need to do it more consistently because I see the value in it. However, it's just something that I just don't do. I mean, I can make sense of it, but at the same time, hey, I'm living my life, and I'm going to be, you know, learning my lessons and doing things the way that I want to do them until it's time for me to change. But yeah, so a lot of it stemmed from, you know, like I said, my father, with his upbringing, he was always brought up in a Christian household. So a lot of his lessons that he brought up to me were from his generations before. And with him, you know, being so passionate into Christianity, I was always around that realm of, you know, good spirits, people who had good intentions, people who just like were so thorough, so like, what's the word? Just so clear and like transparent in what they were doing and what they believed, that it just rubbed off on me to allow myself to kind of break free of the chains that I'm kind of restricted to and still am restricted to, because I feel like when I'm being judged, or you know, like I care what people think, you know, or a lot of it actually has to do with me caring what people think about me for the long run. So it's like I'm very worrisome of that. So that's why I kind of you know, am so precautious about the moves that I make, because I know that you know, it's like a paper trail. I don't want to have one thing mess up my legacy.
Yeah,
so it's like that, you know, that alone, just, you know, with my upbringing, it allowed me to kind of hone in on you know, being more thoughtful with the steps that I take, or in the decisions that I make, to make sure that you know, I'm building a legacy that I truly want to build.
Amen. All right, so after spirituality and religion, what comes next for you?
So after spirituality and religion, you said the first category was love, sex, and...
Yeah, love, sex, relationships, and the other one was society, culture, and politics.
Okay. The next would be love, sex, relationships.
Okay.
Starting with relationships, because I mean, after you figure out who you are as you know, as yourself, and figure out, you know, what you value, you know, what your turn-offs and turn-ons are, you know, the people that you want to associate yourself around, the environment that you want to be around, the relationships come next. Because, you know, at that point, you know yourself well enough to know what type of environment you want to be in, know the type of people you want to associate yourself in or with. So, yeah, I would say relationships comes next. And myself, I'm not the best at building relationships because I'm so focused on myself right now. I'm still focused on my first aspect and, you know, getting myself right, because, you know, there's so much to life that we still have to understand about ourselves before we can actually be that transparent person, like through thick and thin, and not have to care about, you know, what you say, because, you know, what you say is so truthful and like so meaningful, and so like, I don't know, it's like so authentic, you know? You don't have to put a sense or care about what you say, because you know what you say is from the heart.
Right.
So that's, Yeah, I would say that's something I'm still working on, and that's through trials and tribulations.
Are you in a relationship now?
No.
Okay.
I've been single since 2015.
Okay.
And I plan to keep it that way until I have my career straight, until I have my finances straight, until I have my mental, my health, everything straight on myself. And granted, I mean, I see the benefits of me working with somebody to, you know, get that together, but it's like, I want to be selfish to the point where I don't know. I guess that's a part of me. It's like I want to be that kind of guy where I don't want somebody to point out my downfalls after we have so many other things to work on. I'd rather be aware of my own downfalls, work on them, and, you know, get them down packed to where once I am ready for a relationship, we can focus on what truly matters. You know, we can focus on what truly, you know, means the most to each other and to ourselves to, you know, for us to actually, you know, make growth in our relationship rather than always working on each other's problems. Because the more time you focus on working on each other's problems, the less you can actually focus on progression. I mean, granted, it is a part of progression, but at the same time, I feel like you can kind of excel that process the more determined you are to focus on, to focus on yourself first. I don't know. It's tough. You know, it depends on how people see it, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah. So, like, since we're ever changing people in a perfect world, where do you feel like you have to be? Like, what does your life look like when you're ready to say, okay, now I feel like I'm perfect enough to the point where you won't point out my stuff?
Right. I love that question. And to be honest, I don't think I'll know. I don't think I will know. Like, I couldn't plan. I couldn't get out a book and put a goal. Okay, 2020 or 2022 is when I feel like I'll be at that point to, you know that I'll be ready. Like, I feel like it would just ultimately evolve to that.
So it's just something you have to feel.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the stuff. It's just like you will be ready.
Exactly. It's like something that it's just, you know, it's inevitable. I can't resist it. It's just something that, you know, just takes over me. And I don't know. I think that's, you know, that just comes with time, comes with, you know, focus, and just comes with trusting the process.
Okay. So as a millennial 26-year-old in 2019, what do you feel about love? What do you feel about sex? Like those were the other two parts of that category.
So as far as love and sex, those two are essential to growth. Definitely sex. Because, I mean, you know, everybody needs a stress reliever and everybody needs something to, you know, take their mind off of things and help them appreciate life. And, I mean, there's no better form of that than, you know, experiencing intimate experience with, you know, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a loved one, but just experiencing that experience with somebody who wants to experience that same thing. Like, you know, wants to live that same way, wants to, you know, kind of test the boundaries. Like, for myself, like, I'm single, so a lot of the relationships I do, or a lot of the situationships I do get, there we go. A lot of the encounters I do get involved with, it's like, you know, of course I'm transparent, so I'll let the person know ahead of time, you know, that this isn't going to go further than what
this isn't going anywhere.
Like, straight up,
get that straight.
Yeah, this first date, hey, this will probably be the last. No. It depends. But, like, in reality, like, I just want them to understand, like, you know, I just want them to kind of think for themselves why they're doing it, you know, for themselves. Because if we're in the same boat, I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. So it's all a matter of me bringing it out there to have them know, okay, yeah, maybe, you know, me being in a relationship isn't the best. Maybe, you know, I'm 26, like, you know, this, I'm thinking as a girl would think, like, you know, maybe, and I'm straight, by the way. You could probably blank that out, but
I mean, whatever. People need to know.
Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, it's like, you know, they have to think, you know, and I'm more than certain a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people are just, thinking, okay, I like this guy, he has a lot to offer. They're not thinking about themselves, they're thinking about the other companion. So it's like, once you're able to think for yourself and what you want out of your relationships and out of, the other person, then you're able to kind of be more intentional in what you want out of that situation or what you want out of that experience. So yeah, with me, sex is essential for me because it allows me to kind of express myself in different ways rather than just me being on, me just working all the time, or me just hanging out with friends, or me just, smoking to relieve the stress or drinking to relieve,
So it's like solely a release for you.
Exactly, and it's just another outlet for me to like express myself.
Okay, cool. So the last one is society, culture, and politics.
Yes.
So as a black man in America.
Long pause. Oh my goodness. And to be honest, the reason why it's last is because the last of the last is politics for me.
Yeah.
But the reason why I chose like kind of society being last is because that's like the third. It's like the what's the word? It's like you're out of space. Like that's something that you are not majority in control of.
Okay.
So with you realizing you're not in control of it, you have to accept people for who they are. As far as society is concerned, I'm way more open-minded to people because I realize that everyone is not perfect, and I realize that I have downfalls myself. So once I'm able to accept, myself for who I am, I can do the same for other people. And so that's why I'm like so much more open to relationships, as far as like friendships or just meeting new friends, because I know there's so much more that I can learn from strangers rather than learning from a book, essentially, because you are who you associate yourself around.
That's true.
So, the more that I'm able to kind of learn in and lean in different people, different cultures, different backgrounds, ethnicities, I'm able to like know myself more, and that way I can give more, and I can go ahead and express myself to the society intentionally the way that I want to express myself to society. And that way I think that we're all going to be better off as people and at the end, because we're giving our true selves, not the way that we think that we should give ourselves, or kind of thing.
Okay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get you to draw. So I want you to pick colors out of that box that represent you as a person, that represent your life, that represent the things that make you happy, represent the things that make you sad. Just anything that makes you feel a thing. And you can pick as many colors as you want to. It's like, not that one.
This is where it starts. I'm a big planner. Like everything.
I feel you. Same.
Strategic.
Yeah.
I like to sharpen my iron before I go to war. Alright. Red. This is gold. Yeah, it's gold enough. It's too light. I don't do that baby blue. Yeah, that's that.
Okay. So what colors did you pick and why?
So, chose red. It's my favorite color.
It's a good color. It's power color.
Power color. And yeah, I just always grew up with it. It's my mom's favorite color.
Aww.
So, I don't know. It just means something to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's my favorite color, but it was good on me too. It's my mom's favorite color. But yeah. I chose gold because, come on now. I'm golden. I'm a golden child.
Okay.
Like, you know, I gotta represent for myself. I gotta put on. So yeah, I chose green because I mean, there's so many things in life that mean so much to me that are the color green. Sustainability.
That's it. Money.
Money. More money. Commas. What
How do you
else?
feel in nature? Do you like trees?
There we go.
Do you
Yeah, I like trees.
Okay. Do you like veggies? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm cool with them, but it's like I can do without. I can eat fruits over veggies.
Okay.
Yeah, unless the veggies got some dressing to it. But yeah, that's my green.
Okay.
And then blue is just, honestly, I picked the blue up because it just symbolizes more life to me.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
that's that.
All right. So draw whatever you want. Most people do not finish
Okay.
their drawing, so don't feel pressured. Just whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to do. And I'm gonna ask you questions as you
Okay.
draw.
Okay.
So the first question: what makes you the most upset? Like, what really pisses you off?
People not believing in themselves. Like, that thing is just, there's so much potential in this world, and people know that they have potential to be whoever they want to be. And it just makes me mad, especially like a lot of my friends, and even myself, you know, not seeing ourselves to our fullest potential. And, you know, just knowing that we all have a finite amount of time in this world, it's just upsetting, you know, for people to kind of accept life for what it is rather than what it could be. And yeah, I mean, and it's obviously it can become a domino effect because, like I said, you know, and as you guys may have heard, you are the average of the 6 people you associate yourself around. So if I associate myself around limited beliefs, my beliefs are going to be limited. So that's just, you know, it's frustrating because the people who are in my life mean a lot to me, and and it's like it's a double-edged sword because like I love them in my life because they make me the person who I am. But at the same time, it's costing me, and it's costing me energy to like, you know, to want to help improve their lives, because it ultimately becomes a distraction because you know, I'm always focusing, not always, but a lot of the times I focus on helping my friends be the, you know, bring their best potential out of them, so that, you know, they can fulfill what they truly want to, you know, who they truly want to become. But at the end of the day, I realize, like, you know, I mean, you can only help somebody as much as they want to be helped, or what's the saying? Something like that. I don't know. I'm not too good at remembering, you know, quotes like that.
Like, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink, kind of thing.
What she said.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's like, you know, realizing that, like, I know that, you know, I can really, you know, I know that I have the potential to bring out the best out of somebody, but it's like, how can I do so when they don't want to change? It's like, how can I help bring out, you know, how can I help fulfill the person who wants to have a more fulfilling life? How can I bring out the most out of them when, you know, they're kind of stuck in their ways and they just don't want to change? And that's like so frustrating to me because, you know, I preach to all my people. It's like, you know, life is so short and it can be gone in an instant. And it's like a lot of people don't think about how they want to be remembered. And it's like, you know, it's tough.
Where's your vision?
Like, right? Like, where is it? Like, truly. And it's like, you know, and I mean, I was actually looking at my horoscope last night, and it was like,
Oh, you're into that?
Yeah.
What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay. I see that for sure.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know, we're very compassionate, we're very loving, very loyal.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to meet new friends because I'm so loyal. I mean, it's
Right.
like, you know, that's not the reason, but it's like,
I get it.
I enjoy my group of friends, and I'm so loyal to them, and I want the best out of them, but it's impossible. But it's very difficult for me to actually progress with them when they don't want to progress. And that drives me crazy. So it's like I don't know what to do, so I just gotta let go and let God, and just have faith that everything's gonna work out. But that's one thing that really what's that word? What's that saying? Really
grinds your gears.
Grinds my gears. It really grinds my fucking gears.
Okay. All right. So, what excites you more than anything? What makes you really happy?
Being around my loved ones.
Being around those same friends.
But like with all smiles, like like for instance, back in the day, high school, I used to throw some parties. So, I used to have some fun back in the day at the Faust house. So, like every time I was the
wild.
It's like every time I would have a party, like I would enjoy the process. I would enjoy the process of inviting my friends out. I would enjoy the responses that, oh my God, I can't wait. I'm gonna bring so and so. Like, what time should I go? Like, it's just like the process. It's like I love it so much. And then once it actually happens, oh man, I don't think anybody's happier in that house besides me.
Aww.
Like, yeah,
that's awesome.
Right? Because it's like I don't know. I'm like around all my loved ones. We're in an environment where we know that, like nothing bad can really happen. And I don't know, it's just no greater feeling. So, I mean, just me realizing, how much excitement that brought out of me, I just started to kind of propel that into now where not necessarily I'm throwing parties, but like I'm planning trips. So now I'm able to, plan trips with my close ones, and we're able to live out our best lives, and just seeing my boys, seeing my people smile, seeing my fam smile. It just, there's no better feeling. Like money doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
Like nothing else really matters. So yeah, that's like, man, what if I could do that for the rest of my life? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. Make a face that explains you. Like if you were a facial expression, what would it be? What does that facial expression mean?
What's going on? Like that describes life right now. It's like, oh my gosh. Like I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm like
that's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's a lot that a lot that I'm getting encountered with because of the opportunities that I'm being faced with. So it's like I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel, and at the end of the day, I just got to be myself. And I think that me just having that kind of confused, goofy look on my face, that describes a lot about me, because a lot of times I'm confused. Like, I just go with the flow, but at the same time I try to make light of the situations because like I said, like life's too short for you not to enjoy it. So it's like you gotta enjoy the process and have fun while you're doing it.
Okay. So what's your favorite song right now?
Favorite song?
Or if you have multiple, you can like name some artists or whatever's on your recently played.
Ooh, I mean right now it's it's Tucked Off Shorty.
Okay.
Tucked Off Shorty by Rex the Life. This guy has like 4 words in his artist name. Like it's Rex Max Life. Love.
Something. Yeah.
Just look up Tucked Off, tucked off Shorty, like Shorty.
Okay.
Like Shorty Low, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's just the lyrics in that song just bring life to me. I can play it any time of the day. I prefer it in the morning, just to kind of bring more life, more inspiration.
So it's like a good wake up, get ready.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like in high school where Kanye had dropped the Good Morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just like it's just like more life. Like today's gonna be a good day, and it just brings more. I guess what's that? What's the word? more awareness to the greater things that life has to offer.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I want to ask next. Okay. Do you have any weird habits?
Weird habits.
Or anything that's quirky that your friends notice about you that you may not notice that you're doing or that they've like brought up?
Weird habits. Give me a second on that one. I mean, I don't know. Not that I know of. Weird habits. Like, I mean, I rap a lot. Not like rap, but like I talk a lot. Like I'm really talkative, you know. I mean, I don't know if that's weird. Not really.
I don't think that's weird.
But I think it's weird to my friends because they're not used to it. You know, they're not used to just having somebody just rap. Oh, I guess, okay. I mean, it's not just like talking. It's like talking about like, talking about like the potential that life has to offer. Like I'm so like nerdy in that sense to where it's like my boys are almost annoyed by the shit that I say. It's like, I don't know, because I'm always like, whenever we're chilling, I'm always talking about, you know, like how good we're gonna have it if we just stick to the plan.
That's good though.
Yeah,
that's good.
But like with my boys being my boys for over 6 years, it's like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, let's talk about something else. Like, dog, I'm tired of this. And I could talk about hours for that. Just I don't know. That's something weird and nerdy about me because like I don't know. That's what I do for the majority of my day. If I'm not working, then I'm always working.
I feel that.
You know,
I'm very tired.
Yeah.
Very tired. Okay. What's the most challenging thing you've gone through?
Most challenging thing I've gone through
Ever.
School. School. That's really it. Because when I turned 19 after graduation high school, like freshman year at my community college, I realized like at that point I had like 4 or 5 occupations. So I realized like I bounce around a lot. You know, I'm inconsistent with my, with my career, but at the same time, I realized like I like opportunity. I like learning new things. I like seeing what works for me. I like seeing what's not for me, because at the end of the day, that ultimately saves me time, you know, so that way I don't have to go out and, you know, do something for 30 years and realize I hate it and, you know, hate every day of my life. So, yeah, so it's like the more I'm able to experience, the more I'm able to do things, the more time I save on the back end, you know, in the grand scheme of it all, because I know what's for me. So with me going to school, it was challenging because I knew like, I knew that I needed to. I knew I needed to go because that's the way I was raised. That's the way that, you know, my parents looked at me as. Like, they didn't look at me like, you know, oh, you graduate high school, okay, you can do whatever you want for a year and then go ahead and, you know, see what works for you. No, I had to do it. I didn't have no option. Like, and that was like kind of,
most of us didn't.
Right, you know. So, yeah, once I realized that, I'm like, okay, well, if this is something that I got to do, let me go ahead and make the most out of it. So, with me going to school in Towson in particular, it you know, it kind of hurt me because it's like I'm in my prime, I'm in my early 20s, and at this point, I've got introduced to so many opportunities, so many things that I want to try out in life and really put time into doing. But I unfortunately can't because, you know, I'm in school and, you know, I still have to work and, you know, I still have to, you know, be a kid as well. So it's like, all right, let me go ahead and put my dreams on the back burner. I mean, and I didn't have that discipline to like working my business for 3 hours out the day, working school for a couple hours.
Right.
Just
You're in college.
And I didn't even have that mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like, and mind you, this was freshman, sophomore year in college. So it was frustrating because, I just realized how much time I was putting, not really putting to waste, but just going through the cycles just to go ahead and hurry up and graduate. And school wasn't for me, so I was always like behind the curve. I was barely getting past, like, changed majors in college. I changed majors 3 times after transferring. So I transferred in as a sophomore, and I changed majors 3 times up until my senior year. And I was still barely getting by. But it was so challenging for me because, at the same time, I was still like, granted, since I was changing majors, I was still figuring out myself, which was, a blessing in disguise.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want to say wasting time, but like I was just, it was frustrating and it was challenging for me because, I knew where I wanted to be at that point in life, but I couldn't be there. So it was just frustrating. It's like, just knowing, like, for instance, and like imagine if you were a basketball player, right? You got drafted to the NBA, and that you're like, you're the most sought after athlete, like Zion. Like, imagine yourself being Zion, right? And then out of nowhere, you just get a life-ending or career-ending injury. Career-ending, can never ball again, you can never pick up a ball again.
That's devastating.
And then, and just think, what would have happened if I didn't get injured?
So do you feel like college was devastating? Like,
not to that extent.
'Cause I'm like, that's heavy.
Deep, but it's like, I'm thinking back, like, I'm just thinking, like, if I didn't spend 30, 40 hours more plus a week on doing something that just brought my parents happiness at the end of the day, like, imagine where I would be right now, and imagine how much more happiness I could bring to my parents out of other things.
So what do you feel like was offered to you back then that you can't do right now? Is it just the fact that you're 26 trying to do it and you're not 22 trying to do it? Like, do you think it's just a time thing? Because now you have an econ degree under your belt. So do you feel like, and you're 26, so you have a 26-year-old brain and not a 22-year-old brain. So in some ways, do you feel like you're more ready now to run a business and, like, be a boss than you were? Think about yourself at 21 or 22 and, like, how you were thinking, and if you weren't in school, like, what you'd be doing, and then think about yourself now where you're, like, grinding for yourself. So, like, what do you really feel like you've missed out on? Like, what do you feel is gone that you can't get back other than time?
Other than time?
Because you're 26, not 36.
Right. Just more opportunity, just more life. Because, school is one aspect, and I quickly realized, like, that it's just one aspect, and there's so much more out there in life that there is to offer. So I just feel like I could have been more versatile in my learning experiences, trying new things for longer periods of time, and just kind of living more life. Not necessarily saying that college didn't allow me to live more life,
right?
But it just put me in that constrained position to where I was forced to live that certain type of life rather than having the option to live the life, different parts of life that I wanted to live. So with that, I guess kind of to, like, bring it full circle, it's like, so one of the main things in life that drives me to do more, that drives me to push towards my goals, is to provide for my family, is to provide for myself, and is to provide for my freedom. And I feel like with me having the option to focus on what truly matters to me and what I truly believe that can bring the best outcome out of life, the more time I'm able to focus onto that, the quicker that we'll come to that point where, I'll be able to provide for my family. I'll be able to provide for my friends. I'll be able to provide for my freedom. Because my biggest thing is, like you said, besides time, but it's like, time is so finite, and I just always had that worry in life, like, what if I make it but my parents aren't around? What if
I feel that.
What if I make it but,
the people that I make proud don't get to see and benefit.
Exactly.
I get that.
And it's like, I guess that's like the biggest thing that really kind of that really kind of gets me into grind mode. It's like, now that I have the opportunity and now that I have the chance to make things happen on my own accord, like nothing's stopping me, nothing. So I'm applying all the pressure that I can and trying to not really necessarily make up for lost time, but just kind of be really more intentional with the time that I do have, so I can go ahead and fulfill what I'm out here to fulfill. I just know that I know my mission in life, and I know what I wanted to provide.
Yeah.
And I guess the more time I'm able to have to do so, the more satisfied I'll be.
What are you self-conscious about?
What am I self-conscious about? What am I self-conscious? Self-conscious about? What am I self-conscious about? Sheesh. It shouldn't be hard. It's small things, for real.
Like what?
It's small things. Nowadays, it's really small. So, I get self-conscious about, and it's so, fucking, I don't even know the word for it. You'll probably come up with a word for it. But it's nowadays, I get so self-conscious about how I appear, how I look.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like my hair or how I dress, but it's more about the things that develop to who I am today and how I look today. So I used to be an avid smoker back in the day, and it's pretty much caught up to me. So I have some residue lips or whatever. I don't know. It's this shit right here. I'm yo, I be talking to new people, and I'm having great conversations with them, but then in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, yo, they can tell. Yo, they know I smoke. That just it just makes me so self-conscious to where I forget the conversation. I'm licking my lips. I'm doing anything to distract them. I'm making big eye movements. I'm just I'm bugging. I don't
That's amazing.
It sucks because it's yo.
When did you quit?
Right there.
Was it recent or you quit a while back?
Nah, very recent actually. Like I said,
was that one of your 26 things?
Yup.
Okay.
Turned over a new leaf on that. So yeah, slowly but surely, hopefully we'll see. But I don't know.
Well, it's only been a month. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but
it's only been a month. You're so funny.
That's the biggest thing is I guess my appearance nowadays. It's, I don't know, it's it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because first impressions are a lot, so I don't want
everything.
Exactly. So I don't want anybody to think anything of me when they first see me, and kind of have that hinder my reputation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in my business background, with me getting into real estate, me speaking to investors and speaking to high-end clientele, I'm yo, granted, they're holding conversation with me, so obviously, they see past it, but it's still stuck in my head, look at
my eyes.
Look at my eye, right? Yeah, because at that point, like I'm trying to put everything behind me, and I just don't want anything besides what I'm in control of to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anything else. So
no, I feel you.
I'm getting so picky, but yeah, it's me.
No, it's okay. What's something that you don't want to tell people or that you don't want to talk about, but you should share because it can help someone else? So what's something you came in here and you was like, I'm not talking about that. Like, is this something that you feel like, I don't talk about this. This is not something I'm comfortable with, but that there's probably somebody out there that feels the same way about that thing, and you need to, like, let them know.
Let them know they're not alone.
Yeah, and that, like, it's cool. And that it's, like, whatever. Or it will be whatever.
Okay. All right. So something that I guess that I'm still having trouble with is just being completely transparent and completely honest, like brutally honest, to where I don't care. Not I don't care, but it's just being honest to the point where they respect my honesty. Like, that's something that I'm still struggling with. I'm still, like, to this point, although I said I don't smoke, I still smoke. I just lied, like, but it's
that's dope though, that you was just like, alright, like, just kidding.
Yeah, but no, alright, so I stopped smoking marijuana. That's something that, like, I put off for my 26th.
Okay.
But I still, I still smoke, like, Capones. And, obviously that's one thing, and that's something I don't lie about because people don't ask me like that. But it's like, it's small things like that. It's small, like, little lies that I just, like, up to this point, it's like it's embedded in me to where I'm saying it to make it sound good and make it feel like it's the best outcome. Although deep down inside, I know that I'm lying just so I can make light of the situation, just so I can, have everything feel like Instagram, like feel like it should be. But like that's something that it's really been holding me back. And every time I do lie, like I feel like I'm taking steps back. I feel like I'm not being myself. I feel like I always have like regret, behind it. And like I said, it doesn't matter how small the lie is, it's always back in the back of my head. Like, maybe I should have told him the truth. Maybe, like, what was the worst that could happen if I told him the truth?
Right.
I can't think of like a big, a big moment right now, but it's like the small things, the small lies that I tell, the people that I tell to myself, ultimately, hinder my character, ultimately, make people kind of like not trust me as much, make people think that I'm suspicious or always up to something. And that's something that I need to, get better at. And it's like, I don't know how to, I know how, just do it, fucking do it. But it's like,
right.
It's like, at the same time, it's been such a fucking habit in me to where it's like, it's second nature. It's
you
like,
just want people to see you in a certain way, and that's why you because you're trying to build this image.
Exactly.
So you don't want anything that could like taint that perfect image of Nathan.
Yeah.
I feel you.
At the end of the day, there's no such thing as, a perfect being.
At all.
So it's like, at the end of the day, I'm holding myself back from living life the way that I want to live and having people accept me for who I am. Granted, they're going to accept me for who I am based on what I tell them, but it's like, is that the way that I want them to accept me for who I am? So.
Okay. Cool. So, 2 more questions. The second to last question is, what's missing?
What's missing? What's missing? honestly, at this point, the only thing that's really missing is my relationship with God. Like, my genuine relationship with God. Like, not me being associated with God. Like, not since, my dad, goes to church all the time, I'm good. No. Like, not, I go to church every other Sunday, I'm good. No. Like, actually understanding God and who he is, and like, I guess what he means to me and how I perceive him, to truly be. Since Christianity has been always a part of me, I've been taking it for granted so much because, it's always been a part of me and my, the people who I've grown up with. So it's like, I always thought, like, since I'm a Christian, I'm good. Since I go to church, I'm good. But no,
Right.
with me not actually understanding God, not actually understanding, who he is and how he's brought us to be to where we are today, I just feel like I'm doing myself a disjustice, and I feel like I'm not able to be as transparent. I feel like that's probably the reason why I'm living in the lives that I'm living in now, is because I'm not letting go and letting God. I'm not, having faith in the process. I'm not having, total, I guess I'm not like, just being all I can be, because I know that that's missing. I know that that piece, is not there. And I mean, part of it is fear because, I feel like with me actually taking it all in, I'm going to have to make sacrifices that I don't want to make, such as, things that Christians believe in, not having sex until marriage, not, drinking, not smoking, sinning pretty much. And it's like, I want to still do that, but at the same time, because I want to still do that because I'm young and I have the energy and I want to live life and I don't want to let experiences pass me by. But at the same time, I want to get closer with, I want to build an actual connection with God because, like I said, that's the thing that's missing to make me full. That's the thing that's like, I'm always like, I feel like no matter how much money I get, no matter how much good relations I am with my family, no matter how well I am in my business, it's always like I'm never going to be complete until I have, just answered God's calling.
Okay, good answer. And the last question, I always give everybody the same scenario. So all the power goes out, but then on like all the phones and the computers and televisions just pops up like PSA, public service announcement, and then it's your face. So what are you gonna say to the world? If everybody, like literally the world.
Hi. What do you want me to do? PSA. The world is yours. You can do anything in this world that you put your mind to. It's not about shoot, scratch that. Hold on. Hold on. I was there. I had it. Okay. PSA. The world is yours. You can do anything that you put your mind to. If you're not gonna do it, who is? And if you're not gonna do it now, when are you gonna do it?
Word. Cool.
Life is too short. Life goes on. Something like that.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing this. You are absolutely hilarious. Let me see what you drew.
I didn't draw shit.
Show the camera.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. You did draw something. What is that? Is that an eye?
That's an eye.
It looks like an eye with some real long bottom lash.
Yeah.
Hold it up a little more, because the white is okay.
Yeah. So pretty much, my thing was to go for like a horizon, and then show some growth, and then with some I was gonna get to the blue, but that's more life. So that's just to be continued.
All right. Can you sign it for me?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna sign him with the blue.
Yeah, sign it with the blue.
Yo, I am anything, bro. This is Nathan in the flesh.
Okay. Thanks.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Let me show you.